And we're live!
Hey,
Hello!
everybody!
What
How's
is up?
it going, guys? Hi, I'm Brian. I'm the host of this here podcast. I voice the Neptunes in RWBY Volume. And who else we got?
I'm the other guy that is also on this podcast.
His name's Forrest.
That's what I do.
Yay!
Oh, shoot, it's my turn, isn't it?
Oh, goddamn it! I knew we were gonna fuck it up.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Beau. I forgot my name for a second. I voice Winter and Ilya for RWBY Abridged / KRWBY Productions in general. I'm also the head of the VR short department. I am one of their directors and one of their lead writers for the VR shorts. And yeah, that's about it.
And we got a very special guest today. Special guest, introduce yourself.
Hello! Hi, dudes, what's up? My name is Katy, KaniDay on the internet, and I play Weish, blah, 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 my voice is cracking. Weishney, who's like kind of best girl, so it's whatever. But yeah, in RWBY Bridge I play Weiss. I also play Cinder, and I play Penny, who is and yeah, those are my emotions for this season. And of course Velvet. Yay! I'm also a writer, and I like to pretend to be funny sometimes. So hello, internet. Hi, we have opinions on things.
Yes, we do. Welcome, everyone. We'll give a minute for people to roll on in here. But yeah, Katy, this is your first time on RWBY Talk or KRWBY Talk or any of that stuff.
I'm
Welcome.
Very
Do you
excited
feel
to be
do you
here.
feel welcomed?
I do, because a little known secret to the viewers, most of these people are just people that I'm like in Discord calls with most of the day anyway. So, like, I think me and Beau were just writing the other day, and me and Brian also write together sometimes. And Forrest, it is also lovely to meet you. We have not talked before, but I am happy to be here. I feel very welcome.
Little known fact. Forrest is my cousin.
What?
Ah,
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, people in my
Wow.
family know that, but the internet doesn't.
The internet doesn't.
Whoa, that's crazy.
I think I had been on like 2 RWBY Talks on the old channel, like before you mentioned that, and I was just like, "What?"
Classic cousins.
Yeah.
Yup. Hold on 1 second, because I realize I'm gonna be loud and swearing, and my window's open.
Heck.
Aw, heck.
He's gonna say the fuck word.
The fuck word.
He's gonna say it.
All right.
Don't you do it. Don't say
now
the
I
fuck
can
word.
say fuck to my heart's content.
No!
Oh my
He's
God.
gone mad.
All right, but yes, so while everybody's rolling in here, thank you so much. Obviously tonight we are talking about RWBY Volume 7, Chapter 2, A New Approach, the new episode which came out for Rooster Teeth First members just yesterday. So if you are not a first member and you care about spoilers,
Yep.
we're going to be
Spoilers,
talking
spoilers,
about the new
spoilers.
episode. There's your spoiler warning.
I have one word for you all. Sneeze!
Jesus Christ, Katy, you gotta get yourself together.
I gotta get myself under sneak troll. I don't know. My pun game is terrible tonight.
It's okay. We'll
I'm
leave it.
so
We'll leave it to like
overwhelmed.
Artia or someone like that in the server who just makes
Like,
all
I
the
don't
puns.
know if you guys that are coming in here know how much me and Beau were screaming at RTX when anything Weiss related was on the screen.
Yep.
So much is happening.
So in any case, let's hop right in here. The first things first, obviously, we left off last episode with them all getting arrested.
Yes.
And Nora is trying to bite her handcuffs off, which is great.
Yeah. Those things are interesting too. Like,
Yeah.
they're just little ropey boys.
What are those called? Are they called like bolos or something like that? I want to say
Yeah,
they're
I
called
think-
like
yeah.
bolos.
They like wrap around you.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And these are clearly like magnetic or something. They got like dust magic going on.
You know, it's really funny because I went through and I'd seen some posts on Tumblr that were like, man, Nora's face while she's trying to like bite through her cuffs is the funniest thing ever. And so I watched it at like half speed, and like they did like, you know, like the stretching and skewing of animation, but like on Nora's face. And so she makes some pretty priceless expressions while she's trying to get out.
One thing that I thought was kind of interesting is the fact that her semblance is kind of like, you know, electric charging and stuff. And when I saw those handcuffs, one of my thoughts was that she can just like what's the word? Like thunder shock
Like
them, or,
overload them.
Yeah, overload them or something with like power, and she could just like explode them.
Or
off
she
of
could
her.
make them even more efficient.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
By
fair.
accident.
Yeah, it could go either way. I mean, it didn't end up doing that, but that was a thought I had about, because Nora's semblance, I don't see it utilized enough in situations that I think it could be pretty like, it could be interesting to see how they play with it.
Yeah, like if her scroll is dying, she could just like charge it, right?
Charge it.
Yeah.
She's a mobile charger. That's her
Yeah, I mean,
semblance.
you know, just think of the efficiency, Nora. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. So many
So,
so many options.
So also in the police ship is a man who I like to call Mr. Incarcerated.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Mr. Exposition Man.
Was that too?
Yeah.
That too. I was like, so first of all, he was like all proud. He's like, I'm being arrested because I was speaking out against the government. And the pilot's like, you threw a rock at my ship. Like,
Rocks are a form of speech. Come on.
You know?
He's like, it's worth it if it gets me noticed, and it's just like, oh my god.
but he's out there, quote unquote, campaigning for Robin Hill.
And her happy
Rocks.
huntresses.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
her
yes.
happy
Happy
huntresses.
huntresses. Not merry
Robin Hood
men.
is merry men.
Happy huntresses.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny because hearing that actually gets me like really excited that there might be like a good number of more like really kind of strong female characters this volume. That
I
yeah.
was
I
gonna
would
say
imagine.
you're really excited because it sounds like there's more strong female characters who will step on you.
you know,
Yes.
Brian, I told you not to call me out like this. Listen.
I feel very attacked.
Listen,
Great.
I am in a position of power right now. I could just mute you and no one would hear you. Don't test me. Nah, but like I'm really interested to see like if we actually get to see her happy huntresses and if they have a song and dance number.
And if
That
they're
would be
wearing
great.
tights.
Yes, that would be
I want
amazing.
the happy huntresses rendition of Men in Tights.
Exactly.
Yes.
Agreed.
Women in tights. Please make it happen. Archie.
Women in what would it be? Women in combat skirts.
Leotards?
Combat skirts.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Something that I thought was interesting is, you know, the guy Mr. Incarcerated mentions that Robin is running for a seat on the Kingdom's Council.
Right.
Which we saw posters of earlier.
Yeah,
like the previous
Exactly.
episode.
Yeah. So it's not just. I'm kind of almost getting like the Legend of Korra, how they have the council for Republic City, where it's like they've got one Airbender, one Air Nation person, like one Earth Kingdom person, and then one representative from the North and the South each for the Water Tribe because they're split. So the council seems to actually have seats for like Mantle and for Atlas, which I think is cool. So it's not like the Atlas people can just dictate what's happening down in Mantle. Like Mantle has their own representative.
Although I feel like that's probably what ends up happening largely. Whether or not they have representation, they probably still get,
not the
passed
best
over.
representation.
Yeah.
Kind
So-
of like how DC has a representative, but they don't actually do anything.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you,
yeah.
Phone. Thank you, Phone, for telling me that KRWBY Productions is live.
Aw, thanks, Phone.
You gotta
I was
know.
just trying to help.
But like Mr. Incarcerated definitely dishes out some exposition. There was a handful of moments where there was like exposition in this episode where I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that was phoned in, but sure. Like,
And now it's exposition time.
yeah. Like there's this part like, well, we'll get there later on, but there's a part where like Ironwood pulls up the image of Amity Coliseum,
Yeah.
and Jean goes, "That's Amity Coliseum," and then Oscar's like, "Where the Vital Festival is held?" And I'm just like, "Thank you, Jean and Oscar."
Well, I mean,
realistically,
I don't think people necessarily understood or make the connection that like Amity Arena, like the game, is based off of the Amity Coliseum. I don't because they only mentioned that it's called the Amity Coliseum like the one time at the very beginning of Volume 3 where they're like, "We're broadcasting from the Amity Coliseum," and then after that they never mentioned the name again. So technically speaking, that's the only
except we see it all of Volume 3, like we know what that is.
Well, right.
I think it was
like
just
3 seasons,
it has been like almost 4 now. I think that
I'm agreeing with you. I get why they did it. It was just awkward because
it's just kind of funny.
Every single one of them, in the context of their world, knows exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they don't, because like Oscar is Farm Boy, right? He's he's like
Oscar might actually,
Yeah,
I mean,
Oscar was kind of
he was like, where the Vital Festival is held.
Yeah.
So, like.
And maybe he's heard about it in a newspaper or something.
Ian says, "I'm on
Austin's
break. Ironwood's plan 10 out of 10, totally not going wrong. Nope, not at all."
We'll talk about that. We will talk about
I do want to say.
What's up?
On our Robin Hood character, it's interesting. It's happy huntresses too, because that sort of evokes, for me anyways, something for like I wonder if Robin Hill is going to like a combination of Robin Hood and maybe Artemis from like Greek mythology, like and her huntresses and like the the goddess of the hunt and that kind of thing. Like that'd be kind of cool if they pull some Greek mythology stuff on here. I'd be happy to see that.
That'd be really cool. Yeah, so, but Mr. Incarcerated dishes out some sweet exposition about the Aesops. It's like, it's amazing how he's totally singing their praises. He's like, "Oh, they're the best huntresses, they're the best huntsmen and huntresses in the world." And then he was like, and then they were like, "Oh, so you got caught by him too?" He's like, "No, I wouldn't be caught dead."
Immediately contradicts himself.
They're the best, but I'm better.
But
they're the best, but also
I was caught by
because they work with Ironwood,
Yeah, I wanted to mention like how something like kind of towards the tail end of this scene, once he recognizes who Weiss is, and how he mentions must be nice coming from a schnee living in your big cushy mansion and whatnot, and like how disillusioned Weiss is from Atlas. Like she's like already she's just like it's not all it's cracked up to be.
And one thought that I had during that scene too is, dude, she's fucking arrested in the back.
That was my thought.
Like obviously it's not like you're
sunshine and rainbows.
Like I'm sorry. Do you see this? Do you see the ship we're in? Do you see the handcuffs on my wrist? Like my dude, we are literally in the same boat here.
Yeah. Like if she was like given a seat up front or something, or like, or if they offered her some special treatment or something, like that'd be one thing. But they didn't. They literally threw her back there with you. So fuck you.
Yeah, like she got taken down just like anyone else. Like they threw the bolo at her and like knocked her over and shit too.
Like I'm honestly shocked that they didn't play some of that game. Like when they saw a schnee, like I'm shocked that they didn't like attempt to do that like kind of political bullshit on her. They just took her straight down because they didn't care, which I thought was actually interesting. Like because I thought they would have made that move.
Well, to be fair though, at the end of that scene, they do get out at Atlas Academy and they all walk off towards Ironwood's office, and Mr. Exposition here probably goes actually to the police HQ, right? So there is some special. He's not wrong.
Although their special
that was for all of them.
Yeah, that was for all of them. Their special treatment was he threw a rock at a ship and they stole a ship.
Yeah.
He's probably thinking they're gonna get it worse, which again, like, then why are you saying Weiss is? I'm not saying she doesn't get special treatment and stuff. I'm just saying in that situation, like, come on, dude. Cut my baby girl some slack. There.
I like that he's like, oh, this isn't the station. This is Atlas Academy. And his whole like song and dance kind of changes to like this, y'all are fucked.
Yeah.
Like, man, I thought I was in trouble, but y'all must be in a lot of trouble if you're being brought straight to Ironwood.
Yeah. I did like in that scene how who comments like, oh, it's so pretty, like the it's this cool cityscape.
I think Nora comments that it's so pretty, and then Weiss is just like, it's not.
Weiss like, don't let her fool you.
It's not that pretty.
Yeah. That was
love
again
Weiss
just
so much.
Back to her disillusionment with this whole thing.
Baby girl.
Baby girl.
Yeah.
See, I was trying to figure out which of the towers is the Schnee Tower.
All of the towers are the Schnee towers.
I assume they have a tower, right?
One would be safe to assume because in Volume 4, Chapter 1, when they show Weiss in her room, she's sitting by the window and she's elevated. Like she's very high up because like the airships are flying right past her window. So like Schnee Manor has to be a little bit higher up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I assume that they have like a manor house, like maybe up on the mountain somewhere, like away from the city, and then they also have like the corporate headquarters, which is like a big tower.
Of course.
Or something. Probably several.
I wanted to.
Oh wait. Actually, sorry. There is one with a Schnee logo on it. Now that I'm looking at it, there's a couple of them actually.
I'm pretty sure the Schnee logo's on every building.
I hate to be that guy,
yeah,
right?
that's fair.
But Jacques, with a tower in this current political climate, I think he's got a tower.
Yeah.
Several
He's probably got a
towers,
tower with his name on it.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Schnee.
There's just so much in this episode that we're not at yet that I want to talk about.
That's all we're gonna say about that.
Anyways, moving on. I thought
not
it was
representative of the views of KRWBY Productions as a whole.
Yeah.
Individual views only.
The opinions and comments that are expressed in this podcast are not representative of KRWBY Productions as a whole and are solely representative of the individuals that make said comments.
I'm gonna be controversial. Why Schnee is the best girl.
My janky RWBY impression.
So yes, they get taken to Atlas, and then when they're getting out, Ruby's like, "Well, I guess we're gonna see Ironwood, whether we want to or not."
Yeah, let's fucking go.
But she's like, "We should be real careful about what we tell him," and everybody's like, "We'll follow your lead, Ruby."
Yep.
Yeah, I really liked that.
Which I think was like Blake's one line in the entire episode.
No, yeah, she's mostly just standing there looking pretty next to her BB girl.
I mean, I
saw them eye glances.
One thing that I actually was worried about, kind of moving into once they get to the top of the elevator and they step out, is that Penny is actually right there with Ironwood still. Like, I had thought maybe potentially, because she was like, yeah, I'm the protector of Mantle. But, like, considering how closely involved she seems to be with Ironwood, it seems like she actually is, like, the official protector of Mantle.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I just thought that was kind of funny.
When they step off.
My next note, and I mentioned this beforehand, my next note is just all caps, Winter and Weiss, Winter and Weiss, Winter and Weiss. Oh my god, I cried so hard.
Like, me and Beau were watching the episode, like, heckin' yesterday morning when it came out. Me and Beau were watching it together, and obviously anytime my baby girl is on screen, I'm just like, but when, like, Winter showed up and we knew they was about to have a moment, I was like, and we were just so, like, entranced. It was so beautiful.
And my initial response, because it's like they have this moment, Weiss steps up and she's like, Winter, and then Winter's like, oh, it's you, like, you're here, you're back. And then immediately Nora is just like, hey, what about these handcuffs? And I literally was just like, fuck off, Nora.
Although Winter did immediately just say, like, yeah, you better yeet these handcuffs, or
yeah, that was a good...
You have 10 seconds to take those off before I start hurting you.
Yeah, like all the reactions that follow them getting off of the escalator or the elevator. I was genuinely surprised with how, knock on wood, well things were going. I mean, obviously the plan introduced is like, that's interesting, but like how cordial and how like not aggressive and against the team that Winter and Ironwood were. Like they were actively trying to work with them, even though I know there's going to be some shenanigans that goes wrong because this plan is But I was very shocked. I thought they were going to go a very different direction with this reunion.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
Well,
like, and I think it's really interesting that, like, it seems like they happened on Ironwood by chance. Like, it was literally him and Winter and Penny just passing through.
Yeah.
And Ironwood's just, like, complaining about council meetings.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they were being taken, like, to be interrogated somewhere else.
Yeah.
But then they just, like, happened on them, and they were like, oh, shit. Well, hi. Let's get you out of those handcuffs. Like,
here come that boy.
Yeah.
Well, they clearly didn't know. Like when the Ace operatives arrested them, they clearly didn't say, "Oh yeah, hey, it's Ruby and the gang." You know, because they don't know who those are. So
yeah,
so
Winter
I guess
had
Ironwood,
no idea.
Yeah.
Especially.
So they might have been taking them to see Ironwood, and they just thought, "Oh, okay, like there's going to be some hooligans who stole a ship or something," but they didn't really know who that was. And like, oh, hey, what are you guys doing here? Oh, you're the
Like, and it's so funny because they were like, yeah, when we got an unregistered ship coming in, like we assumed it was stolen, and they're like,
yeah, did you know
that? You know, it's funny. I think it's really funny because like Ironwood actually laughs at it's just like oh yeah, we got notified that there was a stolen airship, and Ruby's like, yeah, it was kind of stolen, and Ironwood actually like chuckles about it, but Winter is just like, what were you thinking? Winter's the one that like loses her shit.
No, Ironwood's like Ironwood's just like I feel like Ironwood's reaction was like, yeah, that tracks. Like,
yeah, they would.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's always honestly like I've always kind of really been apprehensive to follow into that train of like I don't trust Ironwood. Like I honestly personally do trust Ironwood. Like he's always been really forward and open about like his opposition to things that Ozpin has been doing or whatever. He doesn't like he doesn't strike me as the kind that's been like hiding stuff. And honestly, he even when, you know, like the whole thing went down with like Yang seemingly, you know, beating up a kid for no reason whatsoever, he wasn't mean about it. He was like, listen, like, you know, it was probably stress. Like, you know, he still gave her the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, he still, you know, booted them from the competition. But, like, he's honestly always been, like, really cool about stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very even-handed. Like he does like when they're, you know, being attacked on the Amity Coliseum, right? And he turns to everyone and he says like, yo, if you guys want to leave, that's cool. Like if you want to fight, come join me. I'm gonna go fight some Grim. But if you want to leave, no one will fault you, right?
So
just go.
I have a counter argument to that, right? In that I feel like Ironwood always has the best of intentions.
Yeah.
However, I think that what he does with said intentions is not always the best thing. Like,
of course, and that's going to be
on his case about like bringing his entire military to the Vital Festival. You know,
but they ended up needing it. Like,
well, kind of.
Well, because a lot of the bots got hacked, but he also brought a lot of actual soldiers that didn't get hacked, and probably helped make sure that the evacuation went as well as it did. That they were able to get that.
True,
except that we saw those soldiers get overrun really quickly, and then when the bots got hacked, everything turned around in in the White Fang's favor, right? Like
also the airships,
Also the airships.
Like...
They brought down the airships. Like they turned the airships against one another. Like I don't know that was the best move. I don't know that having the Atlas fleet there was really helped anything. As a matter of fact, I might argue that it made things worse.
Real fast. Thank you, Shadow Hinata, for the super chat. Penny, welcome to Skynet. Prepare to be assimilated.
Oh no.
Thank you for that.
Oh no.
But yeah, no, like I'm not trying to say that Ironwood's like perfect or anything. I just think that people that are assuming that he's being intentionally malicious, like I think that he's genuinely, I think his heart is in the right place. I don't think his head is in the same place as his heart.
Yeah, I think he's going to be an interesting adversary because I think he's one of the people that when it gets down to the villainry, when we inevitably have to get there this season, I think he's going to be the type that does something with the full intentions of I'm doing this for your own good, which is like, it's sucky because I feel like the situation that's going to happen is there's going to be a disagreement somewhere and he's going to put his foot down and be like, I'm doing this for your own good. And it's going to be like, no, you fucking idiot. Don't do this. He's the stupid, good intentioned dolt that is going to be inevitably what they have to get over to get to the real problems. And he's just going to kind of be in the way. Like, that's what I see.
Yeah.
I 100%...
well-intentioned, but yeah.
Yeah. I 100% agree because like, and I can already back that up with a claim based off new information from this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is earlier on, he said when they're talking with him, like when they first get in to the meeting with him, they're like, yo, what's up with Mantle? Like, your people are hurting. And he's like, they hate you. And he's like, that is a price I am willing to pay for safety. Yep. But as we know, Mantle isn't safe at all because the security code up in Atlas has been updated, but Mantle's has not. And Watts is in there, one of the people who helped write that code, and he is taking advantage of that. He can hack into everything in Mantle, and that's 100% going to get used against them.
Oh, yeah. Well, and like...
And that's
episode,
what Ironwood gets
attacks?
For neglecting Mantle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And... Oh, what were you saying, Forrest? Sorry.
Well, and then they had a big Grim attack, like the first episode in Mantle, just in the middle of the streets. Right? Like, where did those come from? Presumably there are defenses that are supposed to keep Grim out. Those didn't work very well. So...
Yeah.
That's a pretty big security flaw.
Another thing that, and it's not stated by Ironwood, it's actually stated by Winter, is, when they talk about what their plan is, and I know this is jumping a little far ahead, but it's kind of a little relevant to what we're talking about Ironwood basically being willing to do whatever it takes to make sure his plan goes to, comes to fruition, is that, like Weiss points out that there's going to be chaos everywhere, and Winter's like, yeah, there will be, but we're going to help, like, where we can. Like, we're going to do our best to help. But, like, the fact that it's like, there's probably going to be deaths, but, like, we're going to do our best to try and minimize those, but there's no guarantee that we're going to be unscathed, essentially, is the vibe that I got from that.
Yeah.
So, before we get too deep into that.
For sure. Let's talk about kind of that first introduction.
Yeah, maybe. So they meet, let's see, they go and talk with Ironwood, and he's like, oh, it's so good to see you all. I'm sorry about the Aesops. Now, but then one of the biggest revelations that happens is we find out that Ironwood has indeed told both Penny, Winter, and the Aesops about Salem. And so I guess my question to you guys is, do you think Ironwood made the right call by sharing that information with those people?
I think so. So that's my knee-jerk response. My, like, kind of a little bit more like, welcome to my TED Talk. Here, this is what we're going to talk about. Is I think yes, he did, because given the circumstances, it's like he said, given the, I have to say real fast, being Winter's VA for KRWBY, I'm realizing how pro Ironwood I am. And there's no correlation between the fact that I am Winter for the Abridged and also pro Ironwood. I just want to get that out there. But, he says, given the circumstances, he had to make a call. He had to find his own people that he felt he could trust because, he wasn't in contact with Crow. He wasn't in contact. He had no idea what happened to Ozpin. And he needed to make a call in order to protect as many people as he could. And
well, it's the same thing Crow did. Right?
I don't necessarily. Yeah, and Crow did the same thing. He told Ranger, and then told Yang and Blake and Weiss and everything like that. He had to find his own people to inform as well. And I don't necessarily think that he should have told the Aesops, but I think that he was right in telling at least Penny and Winter.
Yeah, I think that's kind of my place too. Yeah,
I don't think that the Aesops necessarily needed to know, or at least maybe not as much as necessary. Just kind of be like, hey, there's a lot more going on than you guys are aware of. Please understand that this isn't just as simple as, nations fighting. Like, we are fighting a much bigger fight, and kind of leave it at that, because they seem to be really good military people. So I feel like they would understand a need to know basis.
At the same time, though, they're kind of his Team RWBY, right? Like, Winter is sort of his right hand.
Winter is like his
or
Glinda,
whatever.
essentially.
Penny is like his best operative, but like he still needs a team to go out and do, like, it can't just be Penny and Winter doing everything by themselves, right? So his letting, I think part of my hesitation with that, because I had the same feeling, I was like, oh, he told the Aesops too, but like that may just be because we don't really know that much about them. They seem like outsiders to us because they're newly introduced to the show, but to him, he's been working with them for who knows how long, right? So they may be very well trusted by Ironwood. And we'll see whether that trust is misplaced or not. With five members on the team, the odds that there's a mole.
I think it would have been best if there was like maybe one of the Aesops that's kind of like the team leader in that sense, that maybe they would know or something.
Yeah,
the
like
rabbit's
if
foot
you
guy,
told
to be
Clover.
fair, like, it's kind of, I feel like in a situation like that, it's either you tell the whole team or you don't tell the team, because like
The team's
we
gonna be
remember
able
what
to
happened
tell.
back in Volume 2 when Ozpin called RWBY up to his office to talk about the incident at the docks and Roman Torchwick, and he's like, and it was like him and Ironwood and Glenda, and they were like, so RWBY, we want you to keep this in the strictest confidence. And she's like, got it. And then she gets back to her dorm, and everyone's immediately like, what happened?
Yeah, well, I mean, but that was also like, that was very obviously, because it's Ozpin that's just like, okay, RWBY, make sure that you don't tell anyone what's going on, wink. That was the vibe that I got from that, which was basically like, like, she's gonna totally go tell her team. Like,
also like school kids versus military operatives.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I suppose.
Compartmentalization's maybe more a thing to them.
I suppose that's fair.
Remember, don't do this. I'm telling you. Nudge, nudge. But yeah, that's my stance. I think that he necessarily shouldn't have told the Aesops, but I think that he still needed to. I mean, all things considered, Crow told Team RWBY, Team Ranger, and like Maria and Oscar. So he's told 9 people.
Some random ass old lady.
So he's told 9 people.
A random old lady that he looked up to as a,
He didn't know that though.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, at the time that she found out about all of this, she was still just, quote, a defenseless old lady.
Well,
I guess they were kind of like, everybody will just think she's senile.
They'll just think she's
It's kind of hard when
crazy.
you fall off a train and then a genie appears and she's kind of like, oh, Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, this is happening.
I love how, like, I know that this is, like, way back now because it's Volume 6, but, like, I love how much Maria just took all that info in stride.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm still coming to terms that this is humanity's second time around. Like, that's the thing that,
Like, let me process one thing at a time here.
yeah.
Getting too old for this.
But so, like, statistically speaking, Crow's told at least 9 people. Ironwood has told 5, 6, 7 people.
Mm-hmm.
So technically,
Yeah.
Crow's more of a blabbermouth than Ironwood is.
At this point, yeah. Although Ironwood wants to tell everybody, apparently.
Before-
That's
So
fair.
honestly-
Can we get to his plan? Because, oh my god.
Okay, so
Well,
let's
before-
we'll get there in just a second. So, there were also a couple other things I wanted to point out. So Ironwood seems to think that having the Relic of Knowledge will turn the tide against Salem, because he was like talking about like now that you're here, we might have a shot. Like now you're here with this.
Yeah.
And let's see. Ruby asks about. She's like, wait, but like, what about the Atlas relic? And Ironwood's just like, oh yeah, no, we got that. That's here.
I want to say I called it. It's the Staff of Creation. People been saying it was a spear, and I was like, it's a fucking staff. It's a staff of creation.
Yep.
It's like a mage's staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
Which
last
is-
thing, because we're moving past it, because it's my OTP. Snowbird had
OTP.
exactly one line at each other.
And it was
It's
beautiful.
canon.
Canon.
That's all I have to
Also,
say. Yes.
Can we just have a moment of silence for the beautiful look that Weiss was giving Winter in every possible moment of this episode? Just can we just please
They're just
before
so
we get
soft.
to the
They're so
before we
soft.
get to the serious shit, I just want us all to pray to our soft God tonight. Thank you, bless, amen. Thank you.
Thank you
Please
for
give
blessing
me
us
more.
this day.
Please. Okay, now we can move on. We've all said our prayers.
Yes.
So there's
I think-
also some really important information that gets dropped here. So
Yeah.
Staff of Creation is safe in the vault, and the Winter Maiden is secure and in stable condition,
In
but
no
is apparently
spring
not
chicken.
exactly a spring chicken.
Da da da.
Yeah.
So she's a
which makes-
winter chicken?
Which
Oh,
makes me
God.
wonder, because if she's older and she's in stable condition, meaning she's like, I'm assuming like ICU, like on life,
Yeah.
like life alert, like
Well,
help,
kinda
I've
like
fallen
life
and
alert,
can't get
a
up.
full-
Help, I'm falling and I can't get
Help, I've wintered and I can't get up.
And so I'm
Fucking sneeze and
wondering,
snow comes out.
I'm wondering if they might have the intention of when she becomes like unmanageable, of transferring her to someone they can trust, i.e.
Oh,
Winter?
absolutely.
Maybe?
Yeah,
So-
I think that's probably
Yeah.
very likely.
It might be the plan.
So I was talking with James a little earlier today.
Yeah.
And James had an interesting theory.
Ooh, do tell.
James's theory was that Willow is the Winter Maiden.
Hmm.
Because we've never seen her.
No, we haven't.
How funny would it be? How ironic would it be to find out that Willow is the Winter Maiden and Winter just looks at her and she's just like, "Really? Really? Like you named me after your superpower?"
Real original there, Mom.
And then like Ironwood's like, "Yo, like if your mom dies, like we should make sure that the power transfers to you." And she just looks at him and goes, "Really? Me,
Really?
Winter
I don't
Schnee,
think-
the Winter Maiden. You really think that's a good idea?"
And then
Yeah.
and then Willow's just like, see, planned all along.
Yeah. She's like, it's all going according to Keikaku.
Yeah. Like,
It's
I
so
definitely
obvious,
don't
they'll
think
never find
that
out.
it's Winter's mom, because I think we're actually gonna get some really interesting scenes from the mom.
Mhm.
One thing that I could see potentially, I don't know, Ruby's mom has not. She's been like confirmed dead supposedly, but I don't see a
Mhm.
body. What if she's gonna play a bigger role in either this season or upcoming seasons? Like, because there was a conversation I was having with Beau or Tina or somebody about like, what if like Ruby uses the last question on the thing, or maybe it was James's theory.
It was
And, like, the
James's
way that
theory,
you-
but I talk about
Yeah.
it a lot.
Yeah, the way they find out or potentially that RWBY finds out her mom is still alive is by asking like, "Where's my mom?" or
Like,
or,
how
or
did
by
my
saying
mom
like,
die?
"How did she die?"
And yeah, and Jin's like, I
Yeah.
can't talk about things that haven't happened yet.
Yeah, something like that. And so
Mhm.
what if RWBY's mom is all old now? And well, actually, that wouldn't make sense
She would be
because
like 40.
yeah,
Older.
I'm like
So
the
yeah,
crypt
just
keeper.
disregard that theory. I was just brain spewing, but I don't know. I feel like RWBY's mom is something's gonna fucking happen.
I want a spin-off series following Team Stark.
Same.
Oh no.
Why are we not funding this? Let's fund this. Let's do a Kickstarter. We'll do it like what they did with the Carmilla movie. We'll do a Kickstarter. We'll crowdfund it, and then we'll send Rooster Teeth a check for like $2 million and be like, make us a Team Stark fucking.
You now have to do this.
Fools make. But yeah, can we talk kind of about like how RWBY lied about the questions?
So yeah, that's so we'll get there in just a second. So
Ooh, okay.
So Ironwood, he owns up to the fact, he's like, recalling my military and instating a dust embargo, I probably don't seem that trustworthy. But here's why you're wrong.
Yeah.
And that's when Ironwood lays out his plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Super smart
His plan.
3-point plan.
Yes. His plan is to launch the Amity Coliseum high into the atmosphere with a new CCT tower on it, establishing a satellite that would bring back global communications and keep them up even if another tower were to fall. That's step 1. Step 2 is, once it's up, tell Atlas about Salem. Panic ensues. The Atlas military has been recalled to protect Atlas. Once Atlas comes to grips with the fact that Salem is a thing, then he uses the new CCT to tell the rest of the world.
Yep.
And just let them handle it or something.
No. And then send his military out to help manage the panic of all the other kingdoms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sensing a problem with this plan.
Yeah, there might be just a few.
There's like one part of it that seems to be missing.
So that brings my next question. What do y'all think of Ironwood's plan?
Well, I'd say his plan is to defeat Salem, right? So that he's like, now that you're here, we might stand a chance, right? It's like,
I think that's more his goal than his plan.
Well, okay.
You know what?
Okay,
let's move. You know what? Let's just so we can have a full conversation about this. Let's move forward just a little bit more. That way we can have it come full circle. So, first of all, Ironwood looks relieved when he learns that Oscar is Ozpin.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, "Oh, thank God you're here." And then Oscar's like, about that.
Yeah.
Ozpin gone fishing. And he asks how it happened, how Ozpin disappeared, and RWBY straight up lies.
Yep.
Tells Ironwood that Ozpin randomly disappeared after the train crash, and that he said all the questions in the lamp had been used up. And this lie appears to work because apparently Oz told the same lie to Ironwood a while back.
Yes.
Well, she didn't actually lie.
She told him what Ozpin
tell a lie,
said.
but she lied by omission, right? It's
true
she
said
that
exactly
Ozpin
what Ozpin
disappeared.
said.
It's true that Ozpin
she's
told them that
exactly
truth or that lie, right? That.
And
then he did disappear when the train crashed, right?
She's in exactly the same situation that Ozpin was in, and I think it's interesting that now she's kind of having to take a step back and be like, shit, this is why he didn't tell us everything. I'm having to...
Cue Annika having a field day.
Yeah, I figured Annika would be like, Ozpin did nothing wrong!
I mean, he didn't really, but...
Dang. God, but... Yeah, it's really interesting that now it's kind of that moment. And there's even this really deliberate shot, and it's such a subtle thing that I just noticed it, like, right before we got into the call for this, is... that, she's just like, oh yeah, and all the questions got used up. And there's this very deliberate, like, the focus shifts from RWBY and then focuses on Yang and Blake back behind her. And they kind of look at each other like, So this is what we're doing. Okay.
That's what we're doing. They said they were gonna follow Ruby, so
we're not telling him everything.
Yep.
yeah.
Because we don't know. We don't know if we can trust him yet. He seems trustworthy.
Yeah.
But we
It
don't
seems
know.
too good to be true, though.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So now that we've gotten through that, I actually want to pose 2 questions.
Okay.
Mhm.
What do you think of Ironwood's plan? And do you think Ruby made the correct decision by omitting that information about Salem?
If Ironwood's plan involves defeating Salem, I feel like Ruby should. I think there's certain information that he needs to know, such as, oh, I don't know, immortality.
She can't
The
be
fact
defeated.
that, like, okay, because when it comes to my thoughts on Salem, especially, and it ties into this, my thoughts for the longest time were like, dude, Salem just wants to fucking die. She literally just wants to die. If I was alive that long, if I've gone through the shit she gone through, and there was no other way to get myself off this planet except by bringing the relics together, dude, I could totally see myself doing what she's doing, like trying to get the relics together so I can just fucking leave this planet. But Beau told me recently that according to the handbook
The
or the
companion
new book,
guide, yeah.
the companion guide, she actually wants to like rule like the world as like the dark leader and stuff. So that changes things. Because at first I had a lot of sympathy for Salem. I was like, dude, I fucking get it. Like you've been here a while. You just want to fucking yeet yourself
She
off
just
this planet.
wants
I
off the
get it.
clock already.
Like she just literally wants to die. Like that is a compelling villain. Like they're not trying to do anything. They're literally like, please defeat me. Please defeat me. Show me a way to get me off this godforsaken earth. And now that I actually have this new perspective that it's not that. She's actually just trying to fuck things up. I'm curious why she's wanting to bring all the relics together, because she know that's that's going to destroy the world if she wants to rule the world.
Well, the thing about it is you can she wants possession of the relics.
Yes.
She knows that bringing them together will summon the gods back. I think. I think she knows. She might not know.
I mean,
because remember,
she'd probably be
Ozma,
the only one that does. Oh wait, yes, Ozma
withheld the information about the. Oh no, but he told her. He told her after.
Yes, he did. He did.
But realistically, Ozma is in control of all the relics right now. Yeah. But he doesn't have them brought together. You know, so it is possible to be in control of all 4 of them, but not have brought them together.
Well,
yeah,
that's
and my only other thought. Oh yeah.
That's because humanity needs to be judged, right? And obviously humanity can't be judged with Salem still around. Except I have a headcanon, and I feel like this is not the way it's going to go down, but I kind of like this idea anyway.
I think I know what you're going to say.
I feel like at this point, it's pretty generous to call Salem human.
Yeah.
So, just summon the gods and have them yeet her off the planet.
Summon the gods.
Eat the rest of humanity.
Summon the gods and be like, hey, what's up? And they're like, we still sense conflict in this world.
Yeah.
And everyone just points at Salem, and they're just like, really? This bitch? Nah, you guys are fine. We'll take care of her.
Yeah. But one other thought that I have, too, is when it comes to the sharing of information that Ruby chose to omit information, I understand that she doesn't want it to be known that the way they found out all of this stuff is not because Osmond told them, but because Jin showed them the past. But the information that Salem is literally immortal, that is something that is gonna need to be said before this happens. That is some information that I don't think Ruby should be keeping, and I don't know the best way she can tell it. Maybe there isn't, but that's something that I'm like,
one thing
you gotta.
One reason that I'm also thinking that she chose to withhold the information is I'm not entirely sure that Ironwood knows how to activate the lamp. And if she says, oh yeah, we use the relic to find out about, Salem, then he's going to be like, how do we use the relic again?
Yeah.
Or how do we use, because it's the staff of creation, yes?
Yeah.
And they have the Winter Maiden, at least, they have her in a vault somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Hey, if we can use the lamp, maybe you can help us use the staff to create something to destroy Salem or something. That's probably be his line of thinking.
That's a good point. I think because I was kind of in that ballpark of okay, Ironwood's plan doesn't work because obviously Salem is immortal. So telling the general population doesn't help one bit.
Yeah, but
Right.
that's the only factor he doesn't have, and he's
like
gotta learn that. Like RWBY's gotta tell him that.
So I was like, I feel like this is obviously a bad plan, and RWBY should tell him why it's a bad plan. But I think that your point is well founded in that when she said that, Ironwood was still in possession of the lamp, and RWBY, at the moment of not necessarily completely trusting him, probably did not want him to potentially use up their last question.
Yeah. Well, and I think she has reason not to trust him. I mean, even though he's been, I guess, a friend, you could say, in the past, they just came from a school where they thought they could trust the headmaster, and turns out he was working with the villains. So who's to say that Ironwood's office hasn't been infiltrated too, even if it's not Ironwood himself, right? He's told a bunch of people, right? I think RWBY's decision to compartmentalize and hide some stuff was just cautionary, and like as they go forward with this plan, she's gonna have to tell him, oh hey, the whole end part of that like you make the internet work, okay, good. You tell everybody in Atlas that there's an evil sorceress. All right, that seems bad, but all right, you prepared for it. You tell the rest of the world. You seem less prepared for that, but okay, fine, cool. All right, now everybody knows. What's part 4? Where does the defeating Salem part happen? Because like so far we've told everybody that Salem exists, and that will in some way defeat her.
I think
like, how does this help?
I think Ironwood's thinking is we have to unite the forces of all of our kingdoms together to beat Salem. But that's a pretty broad, like, you know, to quote Sword Art Online Abridged. I think his plan is we group up and then hit it till it dies.
Yeah. I will say, when it comes to the note of defeating Salem, me and Beau were having a conversation earlier about Jean. Is it Jin?
Jin.
Jin?
Jin.
The Jin?
Yeah, the Jin specifically. Yes. About how the phrasing of Ozpin asking, how do I defeat Salem? There's potential that there is a way to defeat Salem, but it might be someone with silver eyes.
Right.
Or just someone that's not Ozma.
Yes.
Like, how do I destroy Salem? You can't. You can't.
Someone else.
You can't destroy her.
Can we... When RWBY starts using her silver eyes... James, please do this for me. when RWBY starts using her silver eyes on the Grimm, can the joke please be the first time it doesn't work, and then RWBY's like, oh wait, let me try again, and then fucking spams her like most powerful attack until it works.
Oh my God.
Can she also just be like, vibe check, and then just
vibe check?
Use her silver eye.
Aw shit, here we go again.
Make it happen, please.
I saw a meme actually of Weiss earlier walking towards Atlas with the aw shit, here we go again, and it just inspired me so much. I just need all of the RWBY memes. Aw shit, here we go again.
So
yeah, those are some of my thoughts on the defeating of Salem and whatnot.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that Crow also knew about the Winter Maiden, and he hasn't mentioned that previously, right? We've all been in the dark, I think, about the Winter Maiden.
Yeah.
And then he just, what the relic's safe, but what about the Winter Maiden? Oh yeah, she's safe too. And then he's like, oh yeah, she's kind of old, but that's
yeah, like totally didn't mention that.
Whoa, that's a detail you might have. Interesting.
So much lore in this episode.
Yeah.
Much plot, very lore.
Very.
The rest of all of my notes are just me screaming about different things. I have 34 notes, and the last 8 notes are just all caps screaming about things.
Yeah. Leave your caps lock button on by accident or something?
Nope.
Also, can we take another moment of silence to appreciate the hug of Winter and Weiss?
That's of Winter and Weiss, yes.
Yes. Yeah, not the other hug. That's
Let us pray.
Totally.
All right, moment of silence completed. Thank you, soft gods.
I have a really good note that when we get to the other hug that happened.
Okay. Basically, so Ironwood then, after explaining his plan and RWBY lies, Ironwood hands the lamp back to RWBY as a show of good faith.
Yeah.
And then Ironwood's also like, yo, y'all need a weapon upgrade? And Blake is like, yes, please.
Number 26,
so
gear upgrades, gear upgrades.
And then we get to meet the Aesops very briefly.
Yep.
And they have a male tsundere!
They do. I have Faunus Aesops Tsundere Faunus.
It's so great.
I also have Buff Lady,
Yes.
who is Elm. She is Elm.
So much perfection.
Yep.
Is that the hammer lady?
Yes. I think her and Nora are probably going to get along pretty well.
Yeah. Oh, you can trade hammer techniques?
Okay,
yeah.
But what do you want to bet? What do you want to bet? That Aesop's tsundere boy, they're taking inspiration from Bakugo.
Oh my god. I think you'd have to take a lot of angry inspiration to get that level.
So I've seen nothing about this. This is literally me bullshitting. If I'm right, then I'm just a fucking genius. Ship name between Elm and Nora is Hammer Time. I'm saying it right now. That's their ship name. You can coin it. It's Hammer Time.
It's coin.
Oh no.
They've never interacted, but that's their ship name.
Yep. I mean, they
The
both have
ship
hammers.
names always amuse me. Like every time someone tells me a ship name, I'm just like, yes. It just brings me so much joy.
I love that the tsundere Faunus is like, he's like, but not because, you know, I'm excited about it or anything. And he has a tail that can call bullshit on anything that he says.
Wow.
Betrayed by the tail.
Betrayed by the
so
tail.
beautiful.
He has a horrible poker face.
So
wait,
Go ahead.
real quick. This is just a completely random. I'm just like, I have some still of the episode up. Penny's new outfit has like a power button on her.
Yeah,
on her
it's
bow.
like the Xbox.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
looks like she runs
it's
Xbox.
a power button. Like, does that turn her off? Is that her like on-off button? You just I'm confused.
that seems like not a good place for that.
Yeah, probably not. No.
Wait, on her. She has the hair bow one too.
Yeah, she has one on the hair
That's
bow.
right. Yeah.
I feel
maybe
like-
the one on the bow
like-
just turns the bow on and off. You know.
Yeah.
I like how because of what happened at the Vital Festival, they're not even trying to hide the fact that Penny's a robot.
Yeah, she's
anymore.
got like robot
No,
legs
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's just like, I'm here. I'm flying around the city with my green smoke. Like, what's good?
Yeah. So can we talk about the hug?
Yes, let's talk
The
about
other
the
hug.
I
The
put
other.
number 31, Crow and Ironwood hug. Someone give this poor man some love. He
So-
just wants to be validated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was it.
Yeah, I feel like Ironwood
I think he
is
bugged
holding
him.
some information back too.
I think he
And-
bugged him.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my thinking.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100% bugged him. Like he's Mr. Tin Man, right? He doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Man, did Ironwood not see the opening? Crow has a new outfit. Like,
That's
it's not gonna be there for long.
They'll just build it into the new outfits. That.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Can I say that I definitely called that, actually. Like, they're not part of the Aesops necessarily, but I did say last week that I had a feeling that they were going to basically get recruited to work alongside the Aesops, and that was how they were going to get their new gear,
Mm-hmm.
which is
That
exactly
is-
what I said last week.
That is exactly what is
Yeah.
happening. Yeah.
I'm
I
so
was like,
excited. I just
yes.
need like a bonus episode where they're just all going out shopping and doing all this stuff. Yes, I know we're in wartime, but gosh dang it, I love my soft shenanigans.
And like Yang and Blake are looking at swords. I'm like, ooh, I like this one though.
Yes, like Valentine's Day, get your one.
So
Nora's looking at hammers, and Jean gets a
Yeah.
slightly bigger sword.
a slightly bigger, slightly beefier sword that also still isn't a gun.
Still
Yes.
isn't it? Yeah.
Still is the gun.
Not that guns are like all that good in this universe. Like that
That's
that
true.
first episode, right? RWBY pulls out her sniper rifle, and literally everybody else moves before she fires the shot. And it's just like, you have a... All right, never mind.
Yeah.
So Penny offers to show them around campus.
It was so
Tour
cute.
guide Penny.
And
I love
they...
that soft shit.
Oh, actually, it's before this.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're talking to the Aesops, there is a Atlas Academy news screen behind them. And I actually managed to find a really good screenshot of the information that's on that screen.
Ooh.
Administration bathrooms under repair. The ladies' administrative restroom, winter, has been flooded due to destroyed toilet or decimated toilet. Please use the upper barracks restroom on the floor that one's hard to read. Repairs are underway, and the room is expected to be available for use in a few days. Monthly all-hands meeting next Monday. We will be honoring Penny Polendina as Employee of the Month for her hard work and going above and beyond her expectation in her responsibilities. We will also... Oh, that one's hard. James Ironwood has open office hours every month. If you'd like to secure a 15-minute slot with James, please reach out to so-and-so Santiago for more details. And then election watch party. Come join to watch the results of Robin Hill versus Jacques Schnee.
Ooh.
What?
Yeah. So
I thought she was going up against Mr. Hacker guy.
Nope.
Mr.
Jacques
Mustache.
is the one that is running for office, apparently.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is... Wow.
Gee, I wonder who's gonna win. Oh, wait.
I wonder who has more money.
Oh, God. Yeah. But I just thought that was some interesting information. The bathroom really strikes me as interesting.
You know, those bathrooms, Penny, you're doing a good job. Go clean them, girl.
You know, it's really funny because it was like, oh yeah, the administration restroom. So the staff, the higher up bathroom is the one that's destroyed. And I immediately thought back to Marie from Soul Eater. How she falls in love with the toilet and says she's gonna marry it, and then someone, I can't remember who it was, but convinces her that the toilet won't be loyal to her, and so she just destroys the toilet because she thinks the toilet's gonna cheat on her.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, is that Winter? Is Winter seriously like that? Is she just Marie?
Winter, is all about that loyalty, that family loyalty. Clearly, since she joined Ironwood.
Obviously.
Yes.
But yeah, that was some interesting information that I thought I would share when we got to that point, and we did. But yes,
I like that.
So
you said hammer lady on the Aesops is Elm, right?
yes.
And so then we've got our hair, and then the lucky guy.
His name's
do we know
Clover.
the names?
Yes.
Clover. Do we know the names of the other ones? Like the weird,
Yes.
totally not a villain guy.
Yes, that's Vine. Vine is the totally not a villain guy.
Huh.
Hold on. I just had a link of it. So it's Harriet Bree was the is hair.
Okay.
Oh God, it's the one thing that I forgot to pull up. I have so many things pulled up for this. A lot of them are winter pictures. I'm sorry.
Most of them are winter.
I'm not
Sort through all of
actually
the winter
sorry.
pictures.
I'm not actually sorry. Oh God. Marrow is the wolf faunus.
Of course. Okay.
Yeah. So we've got Clover is the leader. We've got Elm. We've got Vine. We've got Marrow, and then we've got Harriet. Those are the 5 Aesops.
Interesting.
And I want to point out
respective stories.
Yeah, I want to point out that one of the Aesop's fables is actually called The Elm and the Vine, and it talks about marriage and talks about loyalty, and the elm tries to tell the vine that the vine that I can't remember what it is, but the vine the elm tries to convince the vine of something for like the better of both of them, and the vine doesn't believe them, and the vine ends up dying, and the elm is basically like, I told you so. And that's kind of the moral of the story of the elm and the vine.
Death flags.
Yeah, so I'm already like, I want to tell you, I called Tina out because when we watched the episode, she was like, oh yeah, that guy looks like a villain. And I was just like, are you typecasting? Like, just because he looks like a villain doesn't mean that he is a villain.
Look at that chin, though. Seriously.
He's not bad. He's just drawn that way.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not bad. I'm just animated
take inspiration
that way.
from My Hero Academia. Like, they have a whole list of characters in My Hero Academia that are heroes that should be villains based off their look.
Oh yeah, like the orca guy who's
Yeah.
like number 3 hero who looks like a villain.
Yeah.
I honestly, before I knew anything about My Hero, I thought that All Might was a bad guy because of how he's like always shaded so heavily and whatnot. I was like, they don't ever do that unless it's a villain. But then I just found out that that's just him.
Yeah.
Nah, he just has the chiseled cliff face,
Yep.
Yeah, he's the Crimson Chin.
Oh my god. No.
Here comes the Crimson Chin.
So Penny the tour guide takes them on their tour.
Penny takes them on a tour.
That's so Penny.
And so they
such a
have
Penny thing.
and Penny clearly wears them out, just going all over Atlas Academy.
Yeah.
Now they did an interesting animation thing here.
I loved it. It was so cute.
They did frame skipping on our main characters, and I think that was to represent them like running out of steam. I can't say I was the biggest fan of it.
Yeah, because nothing else was frame skipped either.
Yeah.
I guess I just liked the cute quickness of it, like just for kind of an aesthetic thing.
Well, like no, what they did with Penny,
Penny,
I was totally cool with what they did with Penny.
Yeah,
Everybody else in their walking animation.
Oh, okay.
I would agree with that. I liked Penny's part, but I wasn't a super big fan of the
skip
frames. I generally don't like that. Like even when they did the frame skipping in Genlock, I was like, ooh, that's kind of heavy on the. I don't know.
Yeah, but at least it was consistent and it wasn't just like
that's true.
One random moment that.
Yeah, and I think Genlock actually managed to pull it off pretty well. I did not feel the same.
I think they also pulled it back a little from like the trailer versus the actual show. I think. The trailer I was really not happy with the way that the trailer for Genlock looked. I was like, ooh.
That's one of the reasons why I have a hard time watching The Dragon Prince on Netflix, because it's very, very heavily like skip frame and whatnot. Like even more so than Genlock was. And it's like noticeable. Like no matter how much I watch that show, I can't like adjust to it. Whereas Genlock, I basically don't even realize it anymore.
Yeah. Like I adjusted to Genlock pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I was not. In any case, I was not as big of a fan of this. Like, I can definitely see that they are trying, like, every season, they try to push the anime-ness more and more and more. And and a lot of the time, I really appreciate that. Like, they've definitely started to do more of, like, the anime style, like, cutaways and humor and, like, weird animation things. I would really appreciate if, at least as far as RWBY is concerned, they stayed away from the frame skipping thing.
Yeah, like the handshake between Hammergal and RWBY or whatever. That was funny.
Yeah.
I think
like
that worked.
her spinning around and then her eyes just going in every direction. Like it felt like Volume 1 RWBY, when she's just like, oh, and he has a fire sword. Yeah, like it really, like the type of comedy that they've had, like even going back to the very first scene of this episode when they're in the back of the shuttle and like the guy like is like bouncing and you hear like the blink blink. Like I kind of like there's like these little cartoony moments that I really, really love because it feels like RWBY. It makes it feel lighthearted like the original seasons were.
Yeah,
And
or Yang punching the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Volume 4, that was great.
yeah, when he just goes bouncing. Shady Man. His name is
Yeah.
Shady
He
Man.
bounces off of every possible
Yeah.
surface in the room.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy those, and like we were talking about with Nora, like chewing on her handcuffs and it just being over the top, and then here in this
Yeah.
scene when they're really tired and she's just passed out against Ren, and then she just like collapses to the ground. Like I love those little moments because it kind of is just like, oh yeah, like it's kind of almost one of those memories of like, oh yeah, these are kids still. Like they have these moments where they're fun. They're allowed to kind of be kids still, you know. Like
Yeah.
it makes it a little bit more lighthearted and not as depresso 100% of the time.
Yeah, trying to recapture that
Uh-huh.
the funny, sillier side of it.
Depresso espresso.
Well, since season 3, it's been like, oh, this show has a dark side. Okay.
It's just like,
Yep.
oh boy, I am
Gay?
sad. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Brian. You're right.
Wow,
Don't-
that's the second time you've called Beau out like this. Like,
I'm feeling really called out, Brian.
I feel very attacked. I came here for a good time, and
I'm honestly feeling so gay right now. So yeah.
The last thing, so they are staying in the dorms. It'll be
Yep.
quote just like Beacon again. I don't think that's true.
Kill Bill
yeah, I have a
sirens.
feeling.
Kill
It'll be
Bill
just
sirens.
like Beacon for like half an episode in that.
Yeah.
Yep.
If they
And
don't
then
have
it'll be
like
oh, by the
fancy
way.
touch screen like windows or like a touch screen like panel on their wall with like a cool like hard light display, I'm gonna be disappointed.
All I
Mhm.
want is for Weiss to get bunk beds again.
Man, I feel like Penny was calling them out. She was like, as Atlas Academy is the best funded school in the world, like everybody gets their own room. And it's just like
Beacon had that.
Beacon had that. Like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about, Penny? Like, also at Beacon, we had rocket lockers. Do you have rocket lockers, Penny?
It still really upsets me that the rocket lockers were established early on because that they knew that was how Pyrrha was going to send Jean away. Like
my
they
God.
literally developed
Is that
it because
why?
that's it's in the volume 3 commentary. They were like, the whole
No.
reason we had the rocket lockers be a thing was because for whatever reason that was how we pictured her getting him away, because she wouldn't be able to convince him otherwise, so she would have to be able to launch him away.
I love
Wow.
how
Oh my gosh.
I love how we literally didn't see anybody use the rocket lockers aside from shoving people into them until
Yeah.
volume 3.
Yeah.
No, they did. Ruby used it when she went up to the tower in volume 2 during the dance. She called Crescent Rose to her.
Oh, that's true. That's
Mhm.
true.
Okay.
Yeah, they used it
Yeah,
like once or
they
twice.
probably have rocket lockers in Atlas.
Rocket lockers don't seem like a sound investment, but I will say that they definitely had their moments.
It definitely is a good investment if a bridged Ozpin is involved.
Definitely.
At Mistral Academy, everyone just sleeps in the lunchroom.
Like, my headcanon is Ozpin was just like, man, back in my day, bullying was far too vanilla. We need to spice it up. There's no enjoyment in being stuffed into a locker and then forced to wait. We got to add something to that.
Gonna
You know,
spice it up a
yeah.
little
My
bit. Put some
favorite-
rockets on it.
My favorite thing that supports that is the line from Mortal Frenemies, the Ruby Chibi episode. That's the Kuro and Winter episode, where they're like fighting, and he's just like, flirting was a lot less destructive in my day. And I'm like, Ozpin, your bitch literally got the world destroyed. Like a lot less destructive. Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like your
Fair
bitch,
point.
your bitch literally got everyone Thanos snapped. Like,
Like Ozpin, I don't think you have a leg to stand on or a body anymore, actually. So
Hey guys, I know we already kind of talked about it a little earlier, but guess who else is here? It's
Nani?
Watts and Tyrion.
oh yeah.
With
Stay
his
in the
new
house.
tail.
And Tyrion is just like casually talking on the phone with Watts while brutally
Murdering.
murdering someone?
so
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
that sounds about right.
Well, I was watching this with my friend last night, and he pointed something out that has me real heckin' concerned, because yes, it's not exactly the same door, but it's built very similarly, and it could be another door into Pietro's workshop. Like I compared the door frames, and it looks like, because he exits out into an alley, and so the door that they went through was a front door, so it's not the same exact door, but the like bricks on them are, and like the shading of the building is exactly the same as the previous building that Pietro was in. So I'm kind of really hecking concerned. Like, and I said this to Tina earlier. I was like, listen, I haven't known him long enough. I'm not super emotionally invested in Pietro, but I'm really emotionally invested in Penny, and I know that she's emotionally invested in Pietro. So if something happens to him, it's going to fuck me up indirectly.
I kind of doubt they're going to go that way, precisely because we haven't been like, if they were going to kill him, they would make us care more first.
Yeah. If anything, I like the idea that me and Beau were talking about earlier. Like, we were talking about a lot of ideas earlier, but that potentially Penny will get hacked.
Yeah, that's a concern, definitely, because they were looking at her specs back in Volume 3, right? Like,
however, they did point out that they've, like Watts, as I was saying earlier, pointed out that they've upgraded the security tech in Atlas, but not in Mantle. Penny is 100% Atlas tech.
Yeah.
So I feel like they've probably upgraded her, because they never actually hacked into her last time. They just had her schematics.
They just knew, oh, hey, she's a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if Beau's theory about they were walking out of that workshop is true, and maybe they got some info, maybe she'll be the one piece of Atlas tech they can get to, and it might just happen to be the one most important one, because maybe Penny has some, like, something stored in her that Ironwood wanted to make sure was safe. And
where better to put it than the gal with lasers?
Yeah.
The staff of creation.
Oh, God.
Yeah, she's literally just your good old-fashioned construct.
I'm just real hecking.
It's an interesting theory.
Cue the Alita Battle Angel moment with RWBY, where Penny, like the nuts and bolts moment, where Penny just comes up to RWBY and yanks out her heart and is like, "Have this."
Oh my God! And RWBY's just like, this just got really intense.
Oh my God.
And then Penny will be like, "But I don't see any tents."
Oh my God. You know, I thought it was really funny, and I pointed it out last week, and I haven't had a chance to mention it to you, Katie. But remember that one comic dub where it's just like, holy shit, it's RWBY! RWBY! Like that comic dub? I was like, wow, I can't believe that comic literally predicted Volume 7, Chapter 1.
Basically.
Oh God, I loved this episode though. This whole episode, just my wallpaper is literally Weiss and Winter hugging. Like
I've just been going back to Penny and RWBY hugging.
Yes, it's okay.
But also just Weiss's face when she's just like, when she's just looking at Winter, just that look of like
she's
love.
so soft. And one of my favorite things is someone did this slowed down gif of the moment that Winter like sees Weiss, and like how her expression just softens immediately. And I'm just like, ugh! I love them so much. I love them so much. I need more Schneesters in my life.
So now that we are a little further into the season, 2 episodes to be precise, if for those that are counting, which includes Rooster Teeth because they number the episodes.
They do.
Now we've got a little bit more context about perhaps where this season is going, so I think that is a great segue into predictions.
Indeed.
Oof.
Ooh, I already told some of my predictions. I mean, just with Salem, like, or theories anyway, not necessarily predictions.
We got Watts here. We got Ironwood with the crappy plan. We got RWBY with her lies.
Her lies.
What are we thinking? What are we thinking is gonna happen?
I do think that I think we are gonna get Ozpin back this season.
Ooh, Chris Scratch has a really good point. Watts is gonna rig the election.
Oh,
yep, absolutely.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Now the question is, who's he gonna rig the election for? Because I'm thinking.
Well, not Robin, because they show Tyrion fighting Robin in the opening.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't have an vested interest in the Shnees, do they? Unless our boy has been doing something else.
I mean, the Schnee Dust Company makes most of the dust in the world.
Yeah.
So if they need dust for something. Also, I mean, Jacques would make a terrible council member because obviously he's going to go in there with his own personal interests. So maybe they might just want to rig the election to destabilize Atlas.
Because
that's what I was thinking, actually.
We've seen what happens when rich people get involved in politics, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, Jacques, not a good politician, I don't think.
Yeah, I haven't seen his campaign promises yet, but I have some feelings.
Jacques' campaign promises: I have money, vote for me.
Doug Dimmadome.
It was really interesting that I want to say
we're gonna build a wall and keep the Grim out.
And we're gonna make the Faunus pay for it.
Oh my god.
I thought it was really interesting that Murder of Birds' episode title was "Make Atlas Great Again."
Oh my god.
For episode 1. That's all I'm saying.
Christ.
Just not even low key about it.
Just not even low key, just high key.
Yeah, it does make me wonder though if they want to put the Robin Hill in charge and as the council member instead, because they know that's going to be the more contentious option, right? If their plan is to destabilize Atlas and to sow panic and to drum up then again, I guess putting Jacques in charge would probably drum up a lot of political stuff too, because then Robin Hill would be like, it was rigged.
Yeah,
gonna,
or potentially
rebel.
Panic amongst the Faunus for being represented by someone who hates them.
Yeah,
that'd do it too.
Yeah,
that'd do it too.
Yep.
Well, and considering that, let's be honest here, who has the votes to win? Is it the popular rebel leader gal, or the really rich snobby guy that everybody, at least all the Faunus, probably hate, right? He may not actually, he may have the money, but he probably doesn't have the votes unless somebody does some
finagling,
sleuthing behind that scene.
Also, I wonder what Maria is up to, because
she's off chilling with her boyfriend, man.
Yeah, she's just kind of off having a good
She's
time.
making that booty call.
So I have to address something that Sugar Rush said. They said, "Am I the only one who thought Robin Hill and her band of merry huntresses was a little too hitting it on the head?" At what point is that too on the head when we've got Leo Lionheart and Glenda Goodwitch?
Glenda Goodwitch.
Yes.
Please tell me.
And Weiss Schnee. Weiss Schnee's pretty on the head too.
I mean, she's in my head all the time. So.
Yeah, weren't you gonna change your Twitter to a Schnee appreciation Twitter?
I'm still considering it. Follow me on Twitter, guys. If
I'll just
give you Weiss love.
I'll just give you access to my old Twitter account that's just Weiss Schnee SDC.
It's just gonna be me tweeting out, "I love you, Weiss," and one day she'll reply.
I have a Weiss Twitter that's Weiss Schnee SDC, and the only tweet that is pinned is Winter would never do anything like this, or Winter would never treat me like this, or something like that. It's you're right, so and so would never say something like that. It's just that's the only tweet.
I do follow some fake funny Weiss accounts, and they make me happy.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just repeat jokes, and I'm like, come on, give me something original here. I'm waiting. I love me some fake Ruby Girl content.
I think that's a good prediction. I think that Ruby and crew are gonna go back into their dorms, and first they're gonna sleep, but then they're gonna sit down and talk about how to next proceed, whether or not they should tell Ironwood, if they need to do any reconnaissance on Ironwood.
Yeah, I definitely foresee one very important conversation is, even if they don't tell about the amount of wishes left, the whole Salem Immortal thing, I think that's going to be priority number one, or it should be, in terms of how do we tell him. And I think it's going to come down to them being like, Ozpin, listen, we know you're in there, or if you can hear us, you heard Ironwood's plan, or if you didn't, like, we're, like, if you're sort of there, but you're sort of not, I don't know. They're going to try to communicate with Ozpin, like, look, we have to tell him that Salem's immortal. Like, he's going to fucking go blast it. Do you want that, Ozpin? We need you. Yes, obviously this shit is happening, and, like, you probably don't want to talk to us right now, and we don't super want to talk to you right now, but we need to. And I feel like we're going to get Ozpin back pretty soon, and it's going to be awkward. It's going to be weird, but it's going to also be, like, a big turning point when it happens.
That's a good point, because, like, that's his whole... That's Ozpin's whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Was, hey, let's not cause a panic. Let's not tell everybody.
Yeah.
And then Ironwood's over here like, let's tell the world.
Yeah. So that's got to be the catalyst.
Although I think that they may very well try to get back in touch with Ozpin, because I think now they have a much better understanding of the precarious situation that Ozpin was in. Of, picking who to tell, who not to tell. And I think they have a little bit of... I
was about to say, I feel like RWBY will just, like, shake Oscar violently and be like, Ozpin, come back! I get it now!
I'm sorry.
I feel like their pride might have a little more say than that. I feel like they're only going to go to him, and they're going to do it in kind of like a, look, we need you. I don't think they're going to be very playful about it. They might have a moment where RWBY's just kind of like, I understand, like, blah, 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 I understand. But, like, it's not going to be, like, happy sunshine, rainbow lollipops kind of shit. It's going to, I think when we get Ozpin back this season, it's going to be one of the big turning points. And I don't think we're going to get that last question used this season, since I think was it confirmed that there's another 2 seasons?
They're in production on Volume 8, and Volume 9 is also confirmed.
Yeah. So
wasn't it said way back when that they had the series planned out through, like, season 12 or something?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But one thing that I doubt we'll see this season, just because they said that this season is focusing on kind of establishing what it feels like to be in Mantle and Atlas. Next season is going to be a little bit shorter, but very plot heavy. And then season 9 is what's going to really bring season 7 and 8 together.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to see what they do with that. But lest we forget, Mommy Salami is on her way from the Woozy Jacuzzi to fuck shit up royally. She's on her broomstick. She's coming with her flying monkeys to direct shit.
Could we make any more Wizard of Oz references?
We could,
let me just crack my knuckles here. Don't test me. Sounds like a challenge. Challenge accepted.
That was pretty wicked, Beau.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now, I have a problem.
Okay.
Glenda, obviously a reference to Glenda Goodwitch.
Glinda Upland of the Upper Uplands.
Yeah. The Good Witch of the East, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, northeast?
No.
What?
So okay, let me spew some
and
facts here.
Okay.
So Glinda, the Good Witch, was actually in the original book. She was the Good Witch of the South. The Good Witch of the North was actually just called the Good Witch of the North and didn't have a name. So when they went to make the original movie with, Judy Garland and everyone, in order to avoid confusion, they literally just combined the North and South into one and made it Glinda, the Good Witch of the North.
Huh. Yep. That doesn't, if you combine East and West, that kind of makes sense, because they're kind of the same thing if you go around a little more. But North and South are very definitely different.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
All right.
So Glinda was originally the Good Witch of the South.
That's interesting, because I was about to point out, I was like, Glinda's from the wrong place, but she's not.
Nope.
Because
but yeah.
Beacon is south.
Yeah, and then the Wicked Witch of the West, obviously. It works too because if you look at the map of Remnant, the one place that we haven't seen or that we don't know anything about is that weird dragon-shaped continent in the northwest. So, is that the equivalent of Kiamoko? Pulling Wicked and Wizard of Oz references out of my ass.
Interesting. Is RWBY gonna get some red slippers? Some beautiful ruby red slippers?
Well, so here's the thing, Katie. In the original novel, they were not ruby slippers. They were silver slippers.
Like her eyes.
Yeah. So the silver eyes. So does that mean she has to go cross-eyed 3 times and say there's no place like home?
That is exactly what needs to happen.
Is that how she activates her super teleportation power?
But does that mean that we're gonna get some more Galinda?
I would love to see more Glinda. I'd like to see Glinda come back. They did it with Crow. They can do it again.
Glinda?
With Aga.
With Aga.
Oh my god.
I love Wicked so much.
I know, it's
the
so
dumbest
good.
shit ever, and I love it.
Just to see her and Ironwood duke it out would be enough. That would be amazing.
So, yeah, I think that brings us to a close on our predictions.
Well, heck.
I would just add that I think we've seen a little bit of our villains, but we know who we haven't seen this season.
Who?
Cinder.
Yes.
And her little cup of ice cream.
Oh, that's a good point.
I be getting thirsty.
Good point.
So,
Cinder and Neo on their way.
Cinder and Neo stuff.
Yup.
I
know that
there's some complex shit at play here.
I know that
maybe Penny's right. Maybe it will be like Beacon, like fucking got like Cinder and Neo after him again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know that our resident Cinder herself, Obsidian Arrows, is definitely not fond of Neo whatsoever. And so she's just like, man, if that Neo even lays a pinky on Cinder, I'm gonna have words.
So many words.
She does not like Neo at all. Cinder is her girl. Which I've honestly, like, to be completely honest, I didn't necessarily hate Cinder, but I didn't really care for her as a villain until it was revealed that she wasn't the big bad. And then seeing her have to come back from being in such a vulnerable state from Volume 4 up to now, she's honestly in probably at least my top 10 favorite characters, if not my top 5. Like, I really have enjoyed kind of the arc that she's got going on. And I'm hoping that we kind of find out a little bit more of what pushed her to become so power hungry.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I think that wraps up our podcast for this week.
Yes.
All right.
Thank y'all so much for watching. We really love doing this every week. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we will be back next week with another special guest, and we're going to be talking about RWBY Volume 7, Chapter 3, whatever the fuck its name is.
And thanks to our special guest tonight.
Yes, thank you to our special guest tonight, Katy. Katy, where can they find you?
Heck, you can find me on Twitter at KaniDay Official. I'll put it in the little chat right here, because I mostly share a lot of art and just talk about weeb stuff.
And then we cry at each other about the Schneesters.
It's kind of, like, we literally just tweeted each other about Schnees. Like, please, it's amazing. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
Yeah, and for any of you who happen to listen to it, Katy and I are the 2 co-hosts for Perpetually Ajar, which is out every other Tuesday. We don't have one coming out this week, but next week you can expect to see another one.
Exactly, and we always have a special guest from the KRWBY team on board, because we just kind of want to introduce the world of behind the scenes of KRWBY and also answer silly questions. And we're big fans of Always Open from Rooster Teeth, so, oh, you listen to it every episode? Thank you, Sugar Rush. Yes, we've seen your questions.
Yep.
But yeah, and if you're not in our Discord, if you're not in the KRWBY Discord, please make sure to join. We love having you guys there. We hang out, we stream video games, we talk, we chill in the chats, we talk about theories and spoilers for different stuff. So if that sounds like something that you would enjoy doing, please join that Discord. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun hanging out there. And we have a Patreon too.
Yeah,
Brian, do you want to talk about the Patreon?
Yeah, we have we have a Patreon.
Whoa.
And yeah, like it's a place where you can choose to support us monetarily. Totally optional, don't need to, but money helps us do things and do bigger and better and cooler things and get new equipment and like go to more cons and that kind of stuff, cuz cons aren't free.
Nope.
Yeah.
Much as we would love them to be.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically, yeah, you can get you can get episodes of RWBY Abridged early, and like some of our, like, you can get a lot of our content early over on our Patreon, and we post like funny bloopers and yeah, it's a good old time. And obviously, if you choose to support us on Patreon, we will love you forever. So, yeah, that's, I think, is that everything? Have we gone down the list?
I think so.
good.
Oh, thank you to everyone who participated in the extra live stream again.
Yes.
That was
Oh, yeah.
awesome. We raised a lot of money for the children's hospital in Atlanta. I can't remember the name of it. I'm so sorry. I'm really bad. But thank you for everyone who did tune in for that. It was awesome. Thank you to everyone who tuned in to the Rooster Teeth extra live stream yesterday and support there too. Yeah, for the kids. I heard it was a pretty wild ride. I keep seeing videos and gifs of people getting hit by moonballs that are like paintballs.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of crazy shenanigans that happened on that. But yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you for all of your support, you know, whether it be to Rooster Teeth and to us. Like, we really appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been fun. We'll be back next week. Bye!
Bye!
Bye.